Hi guys, good evening again. I made a video earlier on and I just thought I would explain myself a little bit better. I'm really angry this evening to have read reports through several media channels in the Philippines that the EU is going to debate on the situation right now in the Philippines with the arrest of Senator De Lima. As far as I understand, there's five or six EU European Parliament politicians who have tried to raise a motion calling on the immediate release of De Lima. And obviously, as far as I'm concerned, this is a matter for the Philippine government and not for a Philippine justice system. Have a system in place or a process in place. And obviously they looked at the evidence and they looked at the situation with De Lima and decided to arrest her. It's not for the European Parliament to question her detention. The Philippines is a sovereign nation. Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte was elected by the Philippine people. He was voted for by over 16 million Filipinos. And not only that, there are many more Filipinos now who believe that he's doing a good job. You only have to look last week at the BBC documentary on the situation right now with the so-called war on drugs, where the BBC almost agreed with the president and said the president was doing a good job in combating drugs, and that all of these killings, if you like, were down to rival gangs and corruption. It wasn't down to the president at all. In this documentary that they showed last week, there were apparently two people on a motorbike who we saw talking about them being paid by loan sharks or by rival drug addicts to go ahead and execute people. So this was not the work of the president. So basically, for the EU to call on a motion to say that the calling for the Philippines to stop extrajudicial killings, as far as I'm concerned, the president is not responsible for these killings, and I'm really concerned now that the EU is meddling in Philippine affairs. One of the reasons why I voted for Brexit was because I believe the EU shouldn't be meddling in the affairs of the United Kingdom or Britain. When I voted for a government in the UK, I voted for our own government. I didn't vote for a government in the EU, and I was always annoyed that the EU would bring in all these laws of their own, even though I voted for, I guess, a government in Britain. I don't believe the EU can go around ruling the world and ruling other nations. I don't believe that it's up for the EU to call on the release of any prisoner. Where would it stop? They could go around the world saying this prisoner should be released, that prisoner should be released. The Philippines has a justice system. And it's up to the Philippine justice system to go through a trial. If De Lima is in prison, I guess she's going to go to trial. It's up to the Philippine justice system to decide whether she's innocent or guilty, and not the United Nations, sorry, not the EU, who know nothing about the case. These four politicians who called for her release don't know anything about the case. Obviously, there's organisations in the Philippines who are concerned over the arrest of De Lima, but you know, that's justice. So yeah, what I like to say is that I'm really against what the EU is doing right now. I believe it should be up to the Philippine people and the Philippine justice system to decide Philippine politics. And I'm also annoyed that the EU are calling on a motion regarding the killings in the Philippines. Again, who are they to say? There's a lot of problems around the world where there are people being starved, there are wars around the world, and you know, at the end of the day, President Duterte just wants to make the Philippines a better place. He wants to eradicate drugs or reduce the number of drug addicts in the Philippines. Apparently, there's 1.8 million people addicted to shabu in the Philippines. Many crimes are being committed by those addicted to drugs, and the president of the Philippines wanted to deal with that and wanted to improve the situation for the lives of ordinary Filipinos. And yeah, that's happening right now under the leadership of the president. I believe the president should be respected and appreciated for standing up to corruption, for standing up to crime, for standing up to drug addicts, and trying to make the Philippines a better place for all of us. I was there last November, and I've got to be honest, the Philippines felt very safe to me. In fact, it's the safest visit that I've ever had, and I've been to the country 46 times. I did feel like the Philippines is definitely going in the right direction. The corruption is now very difficult under the presidency of Duterte. People are scared to be corrupt. People are scared to be committing crime, and I think this is a good thing. The Philippines didn't need somebody to rule with strength and with power, and President Duterte seems to be able to do that. And I don't believe the EU should be meddling in the affairs of the Philippines or the affairs of the Philippine government. 1 minute you have the BBC saying now they understand now that these killings are not down to the president, and they did an investigation and they found out that these killings were down to rival gangs and loan sharks, etc. So maybe the EU should take a leaf out of the BBC's book and understand the real situation happening right now in the country. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks so much everyone for watching and sharing my video. I want to encourage everyone to write to the EU to express their concern. I'm also going to be writing to the EU myself, asking for the EU to worry about their own affairs and not to stick their nose in the Philippines business. Thanks so much guys for watching. Got it off my chest now. I'm going to sleep. I need to be up early and work in the morning. Thanks so much for watching. Maraming salamat. God bless the Philippines and God bless the Philippines.
Kasalukuyang pinag-uusapan sa European Parliament ang sinasabing kaso ni Senadora Leila de Lima at ang issue sa human rights sa Pilipinas. Sa draft ng resolution, nanawagan ng European Parliament ng agarang paglaya ni de Lima at patas na pagdinig. Kinondena rin ng European Parliament ang drug trafficking, drug abuse at extrajudicial killings. Ikinakabahala nila ang mga ulat ng umano'y pamemeke ng ebidensya ng pulis para sa EJK. Nagpahayag din sila ng suporta sa pagbuo ng independent investigation kaugnay ng war on drugs. Naalarma naman ang Parliament sa desisyon ng Kamara na muling ibalik ang death penalty. Nanawagan din silang huwag ibaba ang minimum age ng criminal responsibility. Pagbabotohan sa mga susunod na oras kung ipapasa ang resolusyon. Ayon kay Department of Foreign Affairs Acting Secretary Enrique Manalo, sana ay may sapat na impormasyon ng European Parliament sa kanilang pagdedesisyon. Hirit naman ng palasyo, igalang sana ng Parliament ang hakbang ng gobyerno tungkol kay Senator de Lima.
You know, they simply seem to have a misunderstanding of what's happening to de Lima. The lady is being charged with crime, not political persuasions. So I think they ought to respect that.
Think about the real images that they're faced with too. I mean, in your mind, you pick up the newspaper and you look at the pictures from the drug war. It's heartbreaking, right? You see those people dying, a lot of people dying here.
How many now?
I haven't seen the latest.
Oh, they say 7,000.
7,000.
It's like this, ma'am. That's fake news. Saying that 7,000 were killed, were extrajudicially killed, meaning it's state-sponsored, ordered by the president. When Duterte announced that he has a list of 6,000 narco-politicians, it's complete with pictures, with names, and government posts. But when the anti-Duterte says there are 7,000 people dead, they couldn't even come up with names.
Well, the Philippine Inquirer has a kill list. It's been recording the names, the dates, the time,
Actually, the thing here is I'm not the spokesperson.
Right.
I shouldn't be answering that. But in my advice, you need to do more research, because using kill list is a
their
very,
term for it.
it's wrong. Yeah. So I think you should interview
you're not-
Senator Alan Cayetano.
In your sense of it, is that not that these people aren't dying, but that
Sure, maybe they're killed because they were killed in legal operation by the police, but it isn't fair to say that those are EJKs, extrajudicial killings, meaning they're state-sponsored, they are ordered by the president.
did he not say he would kill?
Well, of course, he always say that to threaten the criminals.
And then they die. So you know what I'm saying? Like you have to sort of at some point take him seriously, I would think.
Sure, yes, but he talks the language of the criminals, and it's not against the law to threaten criminals.
So do you worry about these drug deaths? So for the culture and the society?
You know what, Madam? The killings have been happening ever since. In fact, there are more killings before. Farmers being killed. You're not familiar. You don't know the farmers were being killed?
I have never heard anybody say that there have been more killings in this stretch of time.
So I think, Madam, you should do more research.
I should do more.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what about you? Do you intend to do more research?
Of course, yes, sure.
Just, on, for example, on this post with Selena. Because you said protect her, right?
I think you should do more research because I am getting the feeling that you see Delima as innocent, as an innocent person.
I don't know if she's
You need
innocent
to
or
do
not.
more research, ma'am, because the Filipinos know who Delima is. So please, Madam, do your research.